Hi friends, today's video is all about the books that I am planning to read in September. So the summer is over, which is kind of wild. I feel like it kind of went fast, but was also just much busier than I had anticipated. So we're heading into September, heading into fall, and this is gonna be an interesting month because I have quite a few long books on my TBR for read-alongs and stuff, but a lot of them are also rereads, so I'm not anticipating it being that challenging. I'm also hoping that in September I can get back to where I was in terms of being caught up on Nekeli arcs that I need to review. But as always, let's start by talking about the pick for my Patreon book club. Every month my patrons get to vote on a book that we read together, and we do a different genre every month. For the month of September, with it being back to school, it seemed appropriate to read a classic, and the winner is arguably a modern classic. This is fairly modern, but I think is making it into the list of classics for science fiction and fantasy, and that is Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. I'm really excited to read this. I've loved everything I've read from Octavia Butler so far, and I've heard really good things about this. I've heard a lot of people say that it feels particularly relevant in light of what's been happening with COVID and other things in the world. So I feel like this is going to be a really interesting one to talk about. I'm looking forward to the live show at the end of the month for patrons where we'll be talking about it. Every month my patrons are also entered into a raffle, and the winner gets to pick a book that they want to see me read and review in the coming month. This month the winner was V, and the book that she selected for me was Look the Part by Jewel E. Ann. This is an indie published romance novel that she really loved that has a autistic hero, I believe. So definitely looking forward to picking this one up. Next, let's talk about all of the book clubs and read-alongs that I'm doing, because there are quite a few. First, for the Blades and Bodice Rippers book club, our pick for September is The Goblin Emperor by Katherine Addison. I am a little ahead of the game because I have already read this, which is great, but I'm planning on at least skimming through parts of it and doing like a partial reread in preparation for the live show. So if you want to join us, this was Leanna's pick. Our live show is going to be the last Saturday of the month over on her channel. Then for the fall, I'm hosting 2 read-alongs on my channel, and you guys said you wanted live shows for both of them, so guess what? You're getting live shows for both of them! Yeah! First up, we're going to be reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy, starting with The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is going to be our pick for September. This one is a reread for me. I read this years ago, but I never continued on with the rest of the trilogy, so the other 2 books will not be rereads, but this one is, and I'm going to be joined by some wonderful co-hosts for a live show. One thing to note is that the live show for the Lord of the Rings books is going to be happening around the middle of the month, so the week of the 15th, probably either that Thursday or Friday, so the 16th or 17th, we'll have an evening live show. You'll see it pop up once it's finalized, but if you want to join in, we're going to be reading Fellowship of the Ring, which is exciting. And then, highly anticipated, I'm also doing a read-along for the Broken Earth Trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, beginning with the 5th season. I've been talking about doing this since like March, I think, and I'm excited to finally be getting to it. This is a reread for me. I read these the first time a couple of years ago, and I'm very excited to reread them. And I've got quite a number of people joining me as co-hosts, so it's going to be a great, fun discussion. Join us. It's going to be awesome. So those are the 2 read-along things that I'm doing for the fall. So that'll be September, October, and November. In September, I'm also doing 2 buddy reads, one of which is yet another reread. This is the month of rereads for me. I'm going to be reading Dune by Frank Herbert with Leanna from Leanna's Library. I'm really excited for this. We want to read this before the movie comes out, hopefully, so looking forward to doing a reread. I loved this the first time I read it. Leanna liked it and respected it as an important part of the history of the genre, but I don't think she liked it as much as I did. I was a big fan, but I haven't read this in like 10 or 11 years, so I'm really excited to return to it and get ready to watch the film, which looks amazing. So excited for that reread. And then with Erica over at The Broken Spine, I'm going to be reading Saruland by River Solomon. Again, something that I've definitely been anticipating. This is Southern Gothic horror from an author who writes really amazing but intense books, and I think it's going to be great. So I'm going to be reading this with Erica. I will have the channels of all of these people linked down below if you want to go check them out. Then I have a couple of physical books that I'm reading for review this month. The first one is a novel by an indie author. This is Bloody Spade by Brittany M. Willows. I love the cover. I'm excited to check this out. It's self-published adult fantasy. I'll read you a little bit from the back so you know what it's about. A girl full of heart, a thief touched by darkness, a boy with a fiery temper, an unwitting servant of evil. The era of magic was once thought to be a myth, but after the reemergence ushered forces both dark and light into the mundane world, it has since become a harsh reality. Now, those affected by this strange power, a specialized group of empowered called Jokers, known collectively as card play, must protect their world from the darkness that threatens to consume it. Someone is trying to tear down the barrier that separates the magical realms from the mundane. The question is, can card play stop them before it's too late? Definitely looking forward to this. It's a darker adult fantasy title. Thank you to Brittany for sending it to me for review. I'll let you guys know what I think. And then the other thing that I have a physical copy of I'm going to try to get to this month is The Throwback List by Lily Anderson. This one is coming out in October from Disney Publishing, and I think this is their kind of entry into chick lit or women's fiction. It's about a group of friends who are dealing with various things, and it sounds interesting. So hoping to read that as well. I also have several books I'm going to be reading for a secret TBR video project. What else is new? I'm hoping I can get to all of them in September and it doesn't extend into October. We'll see how it goes. It might be a little ambitious, but I'm going to be working on that. I am also hoping to read The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I have really enjoyed Grady Hendrix, and this is his latest book that is like horror, kind of. I've heard mixed things about it, but I know Mara really loved it, and both of us have loved other things we've read by Grady Hendrix, so I have high hopes for it. I'm not sure I'll get to it this month, but I would like to if possible. And then in September, I'm definitely going to be reading The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. Beautiful cover. I got this for my Book of the Month Club pick, and I'm really excited to read this. This is her adult fantasy debut. I've heard really great things about it. I know it's a lot about family, about magic, it's Latinx, and I think it's gonna be awesome. Aside from that, we'll see how things go. I have a bunch of e-arcs from NetGalley that I put on my TBR from last month, some of which I got to, many of which I have not yet gotten to, and I've got other forthcoming things. Okay, I forgot about one other thing I'm planning on reading, which is Devil in the Device by Laura Beth Johnson. I was originally hoping to read this in August. Penguin Teen kindly sent me a finished copy for review, and I am excited to read this. I know it's gonna have lots of twists and turns. I really liked the first book in this YA sci-fi thriller series. Again, I feel like I put too much on my plate in August and didn't get to everything I was hoping to. Don't think this is gonna happen this month, but definitely will be happening in September. And then basically, if you saw my TBR for August, you know most of the e-arcs that I'm planning on reading in September. Hopefully I can catch up a little bit more. One thing I am excited about is the first week in September, I'm gonna be traveling down to Florida for BookNet Fest. As I'm filming this, it's like less than 2 weeks away, and we still like don't have any announcements. I don't really know what is gonna happen during it exactly, but I do know some other booktubers who are gonna be down there, so regardless, I'm sure we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna get a chance to collaborate on videos, talk ideas, talk booktube. I think it should be good. We're definitely taking plenty of precautions in terms of vaccination and masks. I'll be very, very cautious with how I handle things while I'm there, but I am looking forward to it. It's the first time I've spent any time away from my children since COVID started. I know I'm not the only one, but I am looking forward to that break, and I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done, especially while traveling, because honestly, traveling without children is amazing, and I get so much reading done in the airport, on airplanes, and I am anticipating that. I'm hoping that trip will help me kind of get through a bunch of stuff as well. Quick note that they have in fact canceled BookNet Fest less than 2 weeks before it was said to happen. It is looking like myself and the people I was going to be rooming with are probably gonna end up going at least for part of the time anyway, partly because at least one person has a non-refundable plane ticket, so yeah, kind of unfortunate, but I'm still hoping that it could be a good time where we can do some collaboration. So we will see how that goes. And I'm gonna be incredibly cautious. I am fully vaccinated, but I'm still gonna be like super careful with masks and hand washing and stuff, especially with cases spiking in Florida right now and the possibility of breakthrough cases. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is all we need. So the plan is still to go. I guess you'll see if that's what happens. That's it. Those are my plans for September. We'll see how it goes. I've got a lot of long books, but most of the really long ones are books that I've read before, so I'm not feeling that daunted by it. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about in this video. And for your question of the day, tell me about your plans for the fall. What are you planning on reading? What are you planning on doing? I am really looking forward to my kids going back to school. New York City public schools start back on September 13th, so we will be going back at that point. Fully masked, windows open for ventilation, socially distanced. Hopefully everything goes well, and like fingers crossed that we get a vaccine for the under 12s soon, because like we will be doing that as soon as we can. Yeah, talk to me in the comments down below about your plans heading into the fall. If you all like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.